The night I first saw the creature, I was just another restless soul wandering the outskirts of town. The moon hung high, a silent sentinel in the inky sky, when I heard a faint noise, almost like a whisper, coming from the woods near the old forgotten highway. The sound was soft, but it called to me, like a haunting melody beckoning a lost wanderer. I hesitated for a moment, then moved toward it, curiosity outweighing any rational fear. I found the creature lying in a clearing, its body twisted unnaturally, half concealed under a blanket of dead leaves. The air around it shimmered as though reality itself bent in its presence. At first I thought it was some kind of animal, some strange mutation perhaps, or a creature I hadn't seen before. But as I approached, I felt it. A chill, an icy aura surrounding it, making my skin prickle with unease. Its skin was translucent, faintly glowing under the moonlight, with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and move across its form. Its eyes, black and deep like endless voids, locked onto mine as if it could see into the depths of my soul. I froze, unable to look away. There was something about it, something alien and terrifying, yet mesmerizing. It didn't belong here. It shouldn't have been here. But in that moment, I knew it needed help. Its limbs, long and spindly, were broken in several places, the bones twisted in ways that shouldn't have been possible. I heard a weak rasp of breath escaping from it, a sound so fragile it seemed like the creature was moments away from death. Without thinking, I knelt beside it, my hands trembling as I gently touched its cold alien skin. The creature seemed to sense my touch. It let out a soft hiss, and its eyes widened, glowing brighter, like they were trying to communicate something to me. It was like nothing I had ever felt before. An unspoken bond formed in that instant, one that tied me to it in a way I couldn't explain. I should have left it there, should have turned and run, but I didn't. I knew I could help it. My mind raced, trying to think of what I could do. I wasn't a doctor, and I had no experience in treating anything like this, but there was an overwhelming urge inside me to save it. I picked it up, cradling it in my arms despite the sharp, unearthly coldness that seemed to seep into my bones. Its body was unnaturally light, like it didn't belong to the earth. Its weight was nothing compared to its vast presence, and I could feel the life force within it flickering like a dying ember. I carried it back to my apartment, a rundown building at the edge of town, with the intent to help it, to nurse it back to health. I didn't know what I was doing, but it didn't matter. Something about the creature made me feel like I was doing the right thing. It needed me. I laid it on the floor in my living room, not sure what to do next. Its eyes were still locked onto mine, never blinking. It let out a faint whimpering noise like a wounded animal, and I could see its body beginning to tremble. The air around us grew colder, and I found myself growing lightheaded, as if the very atmosphere was draining me of my energy. As I sat beside it, I realized something. I was doing more than just helping it. I was starting to change. My thoughts were clearer than they had ever been, and my senses seemed sharper. I could feel every minute detail of the creature's presence, as if our minds were beginning to sync, to merge into one. I didn't understand what was happening, but it didn't matter. I was addicted to the feeling. Days passed, and the creature began to heal. I tended to its wounds, using whatever I could find in my meager apartment: bandages, alcohol, even some ancient herbal remedies my grandmother had taught me about. But it was more than that. The creature seemed to respond to me in ways that went beyond just the physical. It was learning from me, adapting. Its movements became more fluid, more natural, and soon it was standing, albeit unsteadily. It began to speak to me, not with words, but through thoughts. I could hear its voice in my mind, its intentions, its desires. It told me things that I couldn't have known otherwise. It spoke of places far beyond the stars, of worlds where time didn't flow the way it did here. It shared memories of its kind, beings of immense power, creators and destroyers, far older than humanity could comprehend. I felt as though I was becoming part of something greater, something ancient, The creature had become more than just an alien in my apartment. It was a part of me now, its thoughts intertwined with my own. But as the days wore on, I began to feel different. I wasn't the same person anymore. My body felt like it was shifting, changing, my senses heightened to an unnatural degree, my skin growing colder, my thoughts sharper. My reflection in the mirror began to change too. At first I thought it was my imagination, but no, I could see it now. My eyes were starting to look like the creature's, dark, infinite, hollow. My skin had begun to pale, growing translucent in places. I could feel the cold radiating from within me, from my very bones. And then came the voices. They whispered to me from the corners of my mind, a cacophony of alien thoughts urging me to embrace what I was becoming. They promised me power, immortality, a place among the stars. All I had to do was listen to them, obey them. But there was something else, something darker, a presence that lingered just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to emerge. I could no longer deny it. The creature wasn't just healing, it was changing me. It was using me, and I was complicit. One night as I sat staring into the creature's eyes, I saw something that froze my blood. The creature's form flickered for a split second, like a glitch in the fabric of reality itself. It morphed, its body shifting into something grotesque and monstrous, a mass of writhing, tentacled appendages, its once translucent skin now a sickening shade of green, like rotting flesh. The voice in my mind became louder, more insistent, as if it were feeding on my fear. I stumbled back in horror, my heart pounding in my chest. What had I done? What was this thing? The creature's eyes, now fully black, seemed to mock me. It had no need for gratitude or empathy. It didn't need saving. It was using me to regain its strength, to take over my body, my mind. I had become nothing more than a vessel for its resurrection. And that's when I realized the truth. The creature had never been injured. It had never needed saving. It had merely been waiting for the right moment to possess me, to merge our beings and consume me from within. The twisted realization came too late. The alien force inside me began to take full control, and I could feel its dark hunger spreading through my veins, consuming everything that made me human. It was laughing, mocking me for my foolishness. And then it spoke, its voice a thousand whispers. You saved me, but now you are mine.